Well, good evening, everyone, on this Friday evening. Summer hopefully is over forever. Normally, you probably wouldn't see me streaming on a Friday evening in the fall, but actually had a game last night, so it's a rare Friday night off during the football season. Be a little while before we have another Friday night off, and ironically, as you can see from the radar, we have some rain northwest of us. Actually, have a severe thunderstorm warning for Cook County for hail and winds to 70 miles an hour. Don't know that that will get here, but did want to pop on and talk about the possibilities of that, especially since we do have some high school football games out there tonight. I don't think most of this will get here before those games are over, but just in case you're watching or you know someone is out at a football game, just something to just keep an eye on in the back of your mind at the rate these storms are moving, and we'll put this in motion in just a second, I don't know that they'll get here before games are over. But again, things can pop up as well. So that's why I wanted to just kind of briefly talk about what we can expect between now and 10 p.m., midnight, and then what we can expect later this weekend and next week, because I think you're going to like that. So let's put this in motion and just kind of give us, so you can see, I'll zoom in here a little bit. So you can see the general motion of the storms is to the southeast. I have had some hail reports. We did have a 1 inch hail report just south of Gainesville, and I don't know that hail will be, that big a deal with these storms. Although, if you get under one of the core of these storms, you would definitely could see some hail. But the bigger threat is gusty winds. So you see that line that's moving through to the west. That's an outflow boundary from storms that were in Arkansas and southeast Oklahoma, really starting last night and moved all the way across North Texas now. Of course, not before we reached 110 at Dallas Fort Worth, the first time we've ever been 110 in September. Hopefully, it'll be the last time hit 110 in September. Hopefully, it's the last time we hit 110 for many years to come because we don't always hit 110 just because it's summertime. But this outflow boundary has cooled us off a little bit. My house is about 93 degrees. Normally, that would be pretty hot, but it is something that I think we'll all take because it's been so hot. So anyway, you can see the motion of the storms, and some of them are pretty intense. Like I said, we've got some hail cores in them, but everything is north, pretty much Denton and Collin County. However, if you do know people or you do live anywhere north of Highway 380, definitely keep an eye out on the weather between now and 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, things like that. So let's see if I can stop this. All right, let's go to the last frame. All right, there we go. All right, so let's get some, see if I can't do some drawing on this. So again, this is Highway 380, and these storms are moving generally in this direction. So, like I said, nothing, certainly nothing from a widespread severe standpoint, but because the temperature dew point spreads are so high, that's where we get this gusty wind. You can get this rain cooled air that gets dragged to the ground, and with the dry air between the hot, dry air between the cloud base, which is very high, and the ground, and that does tend to create very gusty winds. You get that rain cooled air and that very hot air, and then the wind just really blows out of that. That's why you're seeing some reports. I was looking earlier, some reports of 60-mile-an-hour winds. Well, about 40, I say that, about 45 miles an hour under Wichita Falls. But again, as you can tell, I'll take this off here and put this back in motion. Like I said, moving toward the southeast, but as they're moving into Denton and Collin County, they're losing their steam just a little bit. That's for a couple reasons. One is the sun's going down, so some of the instability is waning a little bit, and this outflow is starting to weaken, as you can tell, if it's moving west to Denton. So, things are probably going to ramp down a little bit. However, these storms, and I'll show a wider shot here in just a second, these storms formed in Oklahoma off the real cold front. So that's why they're kind of hanging together a little bit longer. So let's stop this and we'll zoom out here and we'll change the radar. This is actually the high resolution radar from DFW that it is on, and we'll switch over to the regular Doppler radar, which has a wider range. And I'll take just a second to switch over. There we go. Okay. So you can see, you can put this in motion, and we got these storms along the front, or they've at least formed off the front from Oklahoma, and a little bit more of a line. Now, again, not real sure if those are going to hang together between now and 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So most of the high school football games should be fine, although we'll have to watch for development between now and 10 o'clock. But I'm not seeing a lot of good signs of that. And we'll get the last frame. We'll zoom in here a little bit. So you can see some storms, East Texas, of course, Mount Pleasant, toward Texarkana and Shreveport. And then, of course, you see the storms just south of Gainesville, kind of in the arc between Gainesville and Wichita Falls, headed in this general direction. Now, from a rain standpoint, we definitely want to see rain. We don't want to see the storms, don't want to see the gusty winds, but we definitely want to see that, see the rain out of it. All right, so let's switch over to another shot here. So again, this is temperature at my house, 93 degrees, still pretty doggone warm. So tomorrow, let's talk about tomorrow. So as you can see, it's still 106 at the airport. At least it was at 7. That's probably the 7 p.m. observation. So actually, the rain chances tomorrow aren't really that great. This cold front's going to move through probably in the morning hours and shift a lot of the rain chances to the south, at least the way it's looking right now. Now, if the front were to hang up a little bit, then that would change things. And then, temperature wise, it's not going to be cool yet. Tomorrow is still going to be a pretty warm day. It won't be anything like today, but in some areas, depending on how quick the cold front moves through, in some areas could see mid 90s or even upper 90s. So that's the further south you are, there's a better chance you can see that. Of course, that's why they have the heat advisory in effect for the counties south of Dallas Fort Worth between or for tomorrow. So it's still going to be warm for, especially places south. It's going to be warm all together, as you can see. Even if you're up near the Red River, you're still talking about mid 90s. And then, as far as tonight goes, as we've been talking about in the area in the yellow shading, that's the biggest concern for storms, and we're kind of seeing that tonight. Again, not everybody in that yellow area would see storms, of course, but if you did have storms in that yellow shaded area, then some of them could be severe, just like they are right now in Cook County. So it's something that we're going to be keep an eye on for tonight. That's for sure. Boy, this map went blank on me. Let's see if I can. This is actually a temperature map. Let's see if I can refresh this. There we go. And we'll take that off. Zoom in a little bit. So you can see temperatures east of that outflow boundary in the mid 90s. Temperatures west of the outflow is still in the low 100s. So if you're west of it, you're saying, hey, what relief are you talking about? But if you're east, and I say relief, that's a relative term. But again, after 110 at the airport today, I will definitely take 94. That's a sad state of affairs when we get excited about that. Now, so you've heard a lot of talk about what's going to happen next week. So I just wanted to show you a couple forecast map here. So go back to this is tomorrow morning. Well, actually, this is midnight tonight. So you do see a chance. The red hatch is a chance for thunderstorms. And tomorrow, as you can see, the green area is just a chance for rain. And then Saturday afternoon, Sunday at midnight, kind of see that rain shifting south. But as we get into Monday, maybe west of us, Monday night, okay, it gets a little better. Tuesday is probably our bullseye day for the best chance for measurable rain in the sense of maybe more than a quarter of an inch. And then we get into Wednesday, still a rain chance. Thursday, still a rain chance that you can see from the green. And then even on Friday. So that's why you're seeing most of the forecasts saying that it's going to be a chance for rain every day next week. And I think that's pretty much true. So these are based on models, of course. So things could change, but I can tell you this: it's not going to be 110, and it's probably not going to be 100. And I'm hoping that today is the last day that we see 100 degrees this year. That's not totally out of the realm of possibility that we would see 100 degrees in the future as far as the rest of the September, but let's cross our fingers that today is the last day we see 100 degrees, that's for sure. So, like I've said all week, hope is on the horizon, that is for sure. All right, so let's go back to the radar here before we wrap this particular session up, and we'll put this in motion. Don't see any comments, so I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. So again, you can see the general motion is southeast, and I think, see if that warning, yeah, that warning is still in effect. Let's stop this for a second. Let's see what the latest is on that. Yeah, still warning for 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail. Like I said, we did see the one report of 1 inch hail, which is quarter inch. Let's go back to the high resolution radar. Let's see if that gives us any more clues on what's going on. And put this in motion. And as you can see, the outflow boundary is really losing its definition, which again is not terribly uncommon because it's getting to be nightfall. So it is something that we definitely want to keep an eye on. So the bottom line is this. So as the ticker says at the bottom, thunderstorms with gusty winds are possible between now and 10 p.m. I think the vast majority of high school football games will be fine. But if you are attending one of those games outside, if you see the weather get turn pretty, and it will turn pretty quickly. Just make sure you have a place to go from to get out, get shelter out of that. We're not talking about tornadoes or anything like that, but you could see some very gusty winds. That's the biggest threat, and some hail in the bigger cores. And then hopefully from a rain standpoint, this will continue to move southeast, not from a severe standpoint, but from a rain standpoint, this will continue to move southeast and we'll get some rain out of this along with some rain next week. Let's see. Just checking the chat here. Okay, nothing's really standing out there. So, okay. Hey, Misty, how are you? Yes, send the rain this way. Well, hopefully it'll go through us first, Misty. I think it's got to get through us before it gets to you. But hey, we'll all share. Appreciate you watching, Misty. All right. So, Misty, if you just joined us, I don't know if you did or not, but if you just joined us, the main threat is gusty winds with these storms. There's a severe thunderstorm warning up in Cook County for gusty winds. And yeah, everything is burned up here too, Misty. It is not a pretty sight, that's for sure. But and I'll take you back to this other frame here. So as you can see, this is the forecast maps for next week. So that's Tuesday, if you're just joining us. So that's pretty doggone looking good to me. As far as you see the green, that's the rain chances, pretty widespread. So and you can see several cold fronts on this map, and this is like I said, this is projected for Tuesday. And I think that it's just something that we're going to cross our fingers and hope that that comes true. I really think it will. I think temperatures will be in the 80s for the most part for next week. Like I said, tomorrow's still going to be kind of warm. Still going to be mid 90s for most of us. The further south you are, especially you, Misty, the further south you are, you're probably going to hit 100 where you are again. But that should be the last day, even for you. And like I said, we're hoping that it's the last day for everybody that we hit 100 during the rest of the year. That's for sure. All right, so don't see any other comments on that. So for the most part, I think let's go back to the radar here. So one last look at the radar, and as you can see, if you're underneath one of these storms, then yeah, it's looking pretty good. Now, like I said, my concern from a rain standpoint is it holding together between now and 10 o'clock, say. Certainly don't want any football games to be interrupted, but again, I think I think most of us would take the rain. That is for sure. And let me check one more thing here. And yeah, nothing to be too concerned. We'll stop this here. And we'll zoom in a little bit. Yeah, so nothing in the immediate Dallas Fort Worth metrics, but like I said, especially if you live in Denton County, you may see some storms here pretty soon. Hey, Abra, how are you? Um, like I said, we don't want to see any severe weather, and they're probably going to cancel the severe thunderstorm warning for Cook County here in just a second. Yeah, Abra. So that's funny you say that. So yeah, some the radar does show some very weak mid-level rotation. So and I said this in the beginning. This is not a tornado threat. by any stretch of the imagination. These are these cloud bases are very high. They're typically 8, 9, 10,000 feet above the ground. So, that is certainly not the recipe for giving a tornado, that's for sure. Hey, Gail, how are you? Just posted some pictures and clouds showing up in the backyard. Okay, yeah, I'm sure it is dark up your way. So, Gail, you have storms. Of course, let me so just give everybody an idea. This is Sherman, Howe, McKinney's just off the map here. And yeah, this weather service just canceled the severe thunderstorm warning for Cook County, which I'm not surprised. It looked pretty impressive there for a while, but it really petered out after a while. Petered out from a severe weather standpoint. So Gail, right now, I think everything's going to stay west of you. I know you want the rain, and I want you to have the rain too. I think everybody wants the rain, but it looks like it's going to stay west of you for now. Although these storms are kind of popping up, so it just depends on how um, it may miss you now, but it may pop up over you at any moment. Uh, yeah, Abra, we'll keep those tornadoes away. I don't think you have to worry about that. That's for sure tonight. But yes, we'll take the rain. Amen to that. We will definitely take the rain. And like I said, we're going to have a much better chance of rain. Not so much tomorrow and Sunday, although there's certainly a chance. We'll definitely have a better chance starting on Monday and especially Tuesday. So we have to wait. Most of us will probably have to wait just a little bit longer. But there is there's some hope tonight, especially like I said, if you live in Denton County, especially, you will definitely see some rain chances. That's for sure. And speaking of that, I want to look at the satellite here while I'm thinking about it. Just looking out my window, seeing some interesting clouds. Well, I say interesting in the sense that they might produce some rain. That's about it. All right, so this is getting tough because it's getting dark for the satellite, but let's switch over there. Yeah, as you can tell, so these storms, you can kind of tell there, especially before the sun went down, where the cold front is. The cold front's in southern Oklahoma. Matter of fact, cold fronts. Oh, no, that's not gonna work. Let's try this. My pointer doesn't want to work anymore for some reason. Let's try this. Well, hold on. There we go. So the front's kind of on the right here, so you can see right before the sun went down, you can see where those storms were initiating off the front. That's why they're moving south now. How much they hold together between now and then, that's a whole different thing. So we will get rid of this here. And so I just want to see what the satellite looked like. So again, that's actually Wednesday, so that's Tuesday, and that's Monday. So those are the best chances for rain that we have. And looks like the Weather Service is going to issue a special weather statement for northern Denton and southwestern Grayson counties. Let's see. Yeah, so the storm there's oh, I'm sorry, let me get the radar back on here. Get back here. There we go. Okay. So we'll probably see this here in just a second. So it looks like the Weather Service is going to issue a special weather statement for the storm near Sanger, which is, I know it's hard to see on this particular, or it might be hard to see. So Sanger is right here. I won't change my color. I'll make it red. Not the skin. Let's try this. There we go. So so in essence, it's this storm right here, and they're seeing winds about 40 miles an hour. So it doesn't make it severe storm criteria, obviously, but it's something that they're gonna just want you to keep an eye on. That's for sure. All right, let's put this one in motion here. Yeah, so it was starting to weaken a little bit, and it's the southern flank still is, but you can definitely see just passes through Valley View in southern Cook County, and I can understand why they issued a special weather statement for the storm in northern Denton or for northern Denton County because definitely gonna have some gusty winds. And again, like I said earlier, because had such dry air and these high base thunderstorms, you have this big dew point depression, temperature dew point depression. It just is a tailor made for gusty winds. When this rain cooled air hits that dry warm air, it's just a classic recipe for severe wind gusts. That's or potential severe wind gusts over 58 miles an hour. But this particular storm, they're looking at it, and it's more like 40 miles an hour. All right, so let's expand this out just a little bit. Yeah, let's see what we got. Let's go back this way. Yeah, so starting to see. Starting this. Matter of fact, we'll stop this. Actually, put this in motion one more time. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so a couple of areas to look at. This storm here, which is just west of Dorchester, starting to get a little more intense. Now we've seen these pulse up and down, so it doesn't mean it's going to be anything major. But this storm right here is interesting because it does have a hail marker on it, 3/4 inch. So close to severe criteria. Now again, that's the radar beam looking aloft into the clouds. So um, yeah, I can see that too. That's actually, Abra, that's actually the stuff I was looking at my window. That's why I put the satellite picture on there. I just want to make sure I wasn't missing something. Um, excuse me. So yeah, like I said, these storms. I again don't know what they're going to hold together between now and them reaching the core of the metroplex, but it is they're holding together so far. I'll say that. All right, so let's take this off here. Let's zoom in a little bit here closer. Okay, so just to give you again an idea, this is Highway 380 right here. This is Highway 377, and this is State Highway 289 or Preston Road as we know it in Dallas. And of course, this is Highway 75. So just kind of give you a bearing. McKinney's right down here. Prosper's here, Salina's here. So just kind of give you an idea of where we're at. So again, a couple of hail markers on here, but nothing. Of course, nothing severe because it's would issue the weather service would have issued a warning for that. But again, I think the bigger threat, the bigger threat is wind. That's for sure. Okay, so let's see. I don't see anything else that's come across the wire. Oops, nope, don't want that. Okay, yeah, nothing else has come across the wire. All right, so let's see. Let's put this in motion real quick. Well, hello, Miss Murdoch. Yeah, what time do you think I'll arrive here? Well, that's the $1 million question. um, well, let me expand this out. I'll give you a better answer for that. All right, so hopefully the bottom of the screen here is basically I-30. So I-30 northward is what you're looking at from a Metroplex standpoint. And so if you put that in motion, the radar in motion, with that in mind, you can see, they're moving at a fairly steady clip, probably 25, 30 miles an hour. So if you did the math, which I'm not very good at, but if you do the math, if they held together, then they would begin to approach. Oh, I would say, McKinney, Prosper along Highway 380, Denton, certainly Denton within the next 30 minutes. So, if you live in Denton County, that's definitely want to be on the lookout for. It's going to be gusty winds, and that's a threat. What I've been talking about since we went on is that the main threat with everything storms is we have had some hail reports. We've had an inch in inch diameter hail report south of Gainesville earlier when the storms were a little more intense when we had the warning. But the main threat with these storms are gusty winds, 40 miles an hour and greater. Because again, as I've been talking about, you have these high base thunderstorms, number one. Yeah, this really hot, dry air we had today. If you didn't catch it, DFW Airport did hit 110 today, the first time we've hit 110 in September ever. And then, of course, the second time we hit September this summer, which the last time we hit 110 was 2011. So definitely been a hot summer and a hot September, but those 100 degree days are going to be over, thank goodness. Um, but from a timing standpoint, yes, Miss Murdoch, a long-winded answer to get to your question. So I would say that if they held together, you're probably talking 10-ish, give or take. If you live in the Sac Garland, Rockwall, Rowlett area, if they held together. There's no guarantee that they will. Now, from a rain standpoint, absolutely want them to hold together. From a severe weather standpoint, we do not want them to hold together. So that is true. And expertise. Well, I don't know about that, but I will take the compliment. Thank you, Miss Murdoch. Um, and so, anyway, so like I said, I'm hoping that from a rain standpoint, these hold together until they get to us, which would be about 10 o'clock ish if they hold together. But like I said, this is not the main show from a rain standpoint. The main show will be next week, Monday, Tuesday. And again, for those of y'all who joined late, I'll go ahead and show you that little picture here. So this is the forecast map, if you will. Of course, green means rain for Monday, and then it gets real exciting for Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Now, again, this is just one model, so it's not uh, guaranteed to happen, but I think most of the model consensus will show rain and cooler temperatures. Like I said, we're not going to see 100s. A few of y'all, like I mentioned, may see 100s, especially south of Dallas Fort Worth tomorrow, but most of us will be in the 90s and maybe even mid 90s. And of course, on a normal September day, we would all be complaining about that. But with the summer we've had this summer, 95 will feel downright cool. That's for sure. But we will get the real fall, I promise. So yeah, so that's my weather station at my house, 91.9 or 92. And the biggest gust I've had at my house so far is 22 miles an hour. Oh yes, Abba. Well, tell Clara I said hi. It's been a long, long time since I've seen her. She's getting bigger and bigger, that's for sure. I tell her I definitely said hi, and like I told you, we'll keep any of the bad stuff away from me. No tornadoes or anything like that. Macy, if the winds get strong enough, you may think it's that, but it's not going to be that. All right, so let's see. That's just another radar depiction, but I don't really like it. Okay, so again, to summarize, tonight the area in yellow would be the greatest chance for number one, rain, and then number two, if some of those storms could be severe, which again, like I said, we've already had that. And I'm going to refresh this page because I think they changed. Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, the excessive heat warning is technically in effect until 9 o'clock, so that's why it's still on there. But after that, we'll be done with it. And then, like I said, tomorrow rain chances won't be that great, but we kind of expected that all the way around. The real rain chances don't really begin until Monday, Tuesday, but not that we won't see anything between now and then. And let's hope we do. And as you can see in the top left corner there, it is still 100 degrees at DFW Airport, but not at my house because that outflow boundary went through. All right, so let's go back to the radar here real quick. All right, so looks like the Weather Service. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to issue a special weather statement for Montague County, northwest of these storms. But that kind of tells you something. So it does say that we're seeing these storms kind of stay together after dark. But and again, the part of that's because of the main cold front in southern Oklahoma, where these particular storms started from. It's going to help destabilize the atmosphere, keep the dynamics going, and that should help these storms keep going after dark. Of course, it already is after dark, but it's not these what we call these air mass thunderstorms. When the sun goes down, they all go to kaput. That's hopefully not going to be the case, but as the lovely Mrs. Bickerstaff says, she will believe it when she sees it. And I think we're all kind of there because it's been so long since we've seen a good soaking rain. Yes, Emily, we are going to bring on the rain. Let's do that. Okay, so yeah, up near Nakona, it looks like we had a 52-mile-an-hour wind gust. So these storms, they definitely can pack a punch, that's for sure. All right, so we're going to zoom in a little bit more on this here real quick. Stop this. And I'm just checking the chat and make sure I'm not missing anybody. Yeah, so okay, so there's a couple things to look for here. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so these storms have really gotten going in the last 10 minutes as far as intensity. So wouldn't be surprised. Um, wouldn't be surprised if there's a statement from the Weather Service on those. If nothing else, pretty intense rain cores, that's for sure. And we zoom in a little bit more on that. So I know the cities are probably hard to read on the screen. Um, but to give you an idea, this would be, oh my gosh, Gunter, the town of Gunter. Howe is right here. McKinney's kind of off the map here to the bottom, and then Salina's right there. So again, if you're in that part of the metroplex, northern Denton County, northern Collin County, especially northern Denton County, not so much northern Collin County yet. Might see some rain here between the next 30 and 45 minutes. That is the way it is looking. All right, so let's zoom back out here. Yeah, so we see the brown box there, so that's the special weather statement they issued before. Moving southeast at 20 miles an hour, winds in excess of 40 miles an hour, and that's been pretty consistent with what we're seeing. All right, so we're going to zoom out, and we are going to go back to the main radar, not the high resolution radar. So we'll get a bigger look at these storms in Oklahoma. Yes, the throat gets dry when you talk a whole bunch. There we go. Yeah, so again, as you can see, and we'll put this in motion, which is good news for us as far as getting any kind of rain tonight. Again, these are storms that are forming along the cold front and moving south. They're kind of moving off the cold front. So that's the only thing that concerns me a little bit from a rain standpoint is that, the further away they get from the front, the less support they have. But we do have a fairly unstable atmosphere, although we have a lot of dry air in the lower levels, and that's why we've had some issues with getting widespread rain. But again, that's all going to change with these cold fronts we're going to have. Really starting tomorrow, and then several between tomorrow and next Friday. So it's going to be really awesome. It's not going to be 100 degrees. Won't that be a relief? All right, so we'll zoom in here a little bit more. And again, you can see the old outflow boundary that cooled us off. I say cooled us off. Uh, temporarily cool off. It went from 107 to 97. I guess that's a cool off. All right, so let's see. Stop this here. All right. Yeah, a couple of hail cores in there, and the biggest one, 3/4 of an inch. But nothing to be concerned about. And heck, it's so hot at the ground. I wouldn't be surprised if it all melted before it even got hit the ground or became very small hills if it survived the hot air trip to the ground. Okay, let's see. Don't see anything yet. Let's put this in motion one more time. And again, as you can see, movement to the southeast about 20 miles an hour. So that's been pretty consistent. Now, again, is it going to hold together between now and then? That is the issue. Yes, Abra, it is so hot. Although it's cooler than it was. You're not too far from me, so It's kind of sad when we think 92 is cool. That's really sad if you think about it. But hey, we'll take it. Okay, let's do this. Let's kind of move back out a little bit. Yeah, so definitely still seeing storm development, up in this area, which is just southeast of Wichita Falls. So that's actually a good sign because I think we'll see, um, like I said, hopefully this will continue. Because, like I said, my concern, don't want the severe weather, of course, but my concern is that we just want to keep these storms holding together between now and when they get here, which will be between now and 10 o'clock. So let's hope that's the case. All right, we'll stop this and put the latest frame on there. So we're going to go back to the high definition radar here. Let's see what we got. And we'll put this in motion. Well, like I said, it's pretty consistent. And let's hope it gets that way. So, bottom line is this: if you obviously, I'm not at a high school football game because, like I said, Saxby played last night and they won. So, thank goodness for that. Of course, the Mustang band won at halftime. They always do that. Uh, but so it's a rare Friday night off for me during football season. And I'm definitely going to take advantage of it. But because there are people outside, with whether it's high school football or just any kind of activity, although it's not very, you don't really think about being outside when it's so hot. But um, it's just wanted to come on and just kind of give everybody a brief rundown on what's happening tonight. And as I mentioned before, what's most likely going to happen between now and next week, which is, well, I say most likely, almost for sure likely, cooler weather and some rain. So that is the best thing to celebrate. So, okay, so I think don't see any more comments there. I'm going to zoom out here a little bit. So here's what I'm going to be doing the rest of the night, which I tend to do anytime it might rain, especially if it hasn't rained in what forever. I'll be watching it, and if it gets to where it gets a little dicey between now and 10 o'clock, I'll pop back on. Thank you, Abra. It's always good to see you too. Um, I'll hop back on. I don't. Here's the bottom line, especially if you're just tuning in, is that we do have a chance for rain. Of course, it's one of those things that you know, like late summer, not everybody is going to see rain this go around, but I think everybody's going to see rain between now and next Friday. So let me say that. But tonight, not everybody's going to see rain, unfortunately. But those of you who do that are close to these storms, here's the main takeaway. The main takeaway is gusty winds, lightning, all that normal stuff you would think about with thunderstorms. But it is, you know, that's the main threat. So if you just in case, if you have anything loose in your yard, anything like that, then you might want to secure that just in case. And then after that, I don't. I think I'm not going. I don't think the night will be totally calm. I hope it's not. To be honest, nobody wants to stay up all night with storms, but we may see some rain chances on and off through the night into tomorrow morning until the cold front moves through, and then it's something that the rain chances were kind of low, but like I said, again, going into Sunday and Monday, especially, it'll start to pick back up. So if you are out and about, especially if you're at a high school football game tonight, if you're out and about, just look to your northwest. Just keep an eye on that. And if you're outside, you probably do see some lightning. Pretty much no matter where you are, I'm sure you can maybe see it off in the distance. And remember, here's the thing. So it doesn't have to be raining where you're at to be in danger of lightning. So if you see lightning but don't hear thunder, then you're pretty much okay. But if you hear thunder, then you can be struck by lightning. That's how close it is. So that's just what you want to be aware of. And obviously it's not worth being outside just to see lightning. Just not worth that. Uh, so please keep that in mind if you're outside. So again, the bottom line, gusty winds, uh, very heavy rain for some people, maybe some small hail. We've only had one severe thunderstorm warning tonight, and that was in Cook County earlier. Not to say we wouldn't have any more later, but it's something that we just got to watch, and I will certainly be watching. Well, as always, I'm watching weather, so you don't have to. Hope everyone has a great Friday, great weekend, and enjoy this cooler weather and enjoy this rain. And we will talk to you soon.